Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today I just got done doing the majority of my shoveling because we got nearly 2 feet of snow. I had to do the chicken yard so I could let the chickens out and feed them and water them down. I had to shovel a path on the deck out to the dog yard so that they could do what they got to do because my little girl Millie, she about disappeared hopping into that 2 feet of snow. So, anyways, all the hard work is done, and I'm really looking forward to the fun side of things. So, what we're going to do today is take a look at our Planter's Choice Special, the Blue Jacaranda. I had pruned one up due to insect infestation a couple weeks, maybe a month ago. I'd have to go back on the playlist. There is a Planter's Choice playlist that you can go all the way back to growing them from seed if you are just getting into that Planter's Choice Bonsai Starter Kit. The box itself has changed over the years, but the contents, the seeds, and the process has not. So I have about a 3-year length playlist on that. So before we get to the longer terracotta pot with 3 blue jacarandas in it, and then the single blue jacaranda that we're going to prune up today, I just wanted to give you the update on this bad boy that we did last week or last month. It's alive. So just starting to kick out some new growth. I'm excited about that because it's not really on top of each other. So it looks like I'll get one way, one this way, and then maybe a lower branch. You see it has an attractive, hold on, let me clean the lens. There we go. You see it has an attractive little swoop to it. And I didn't want to be too adventurous with my pruning because there was only new growth coming in up top. And I was like, oh man, it's infested. I got to clean that up and prune these off. But I didn't want to do like a cut down here or something, which might actually happen in the future. So this early spring, this thing's going to get a repot into a proper bonsai pot. It's just in a bonsai terracotta training pot right now. Really excited that it survived. I was nervous. So this is still green, so I'm feeling confident that this will probably come after this more muscular branch. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. But for now, let's take a look at 3 really healthy trees in a group planting and then one healthy little specimen that I'm going to prune up today. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, y'all. So here we have the specimen I was talking about. Not so much action going on with this one. If you've had success growing the Delonix regia from the Planter's Choice Bonsai Starter Kit and the Blue Jacaranda, you'll probably notice that the Delonix regia has very similar leaves, and it chases the sun, so you can get really cool trunks. But it grows in a little bit hardier. So these blue jacarandas, I've noticed, are a little slower growers, and then they're just a little bit more delicate with how strong they grow in with these leaves. So this guy have a decent trunk. I had pruned it here hoping for 2 branches coming out, and it didn't happen. This actually, I had 4 or 5 of these blue jacarandas grow really closely together, and so I was like, you know what, why don't I try to do like a little clump style? And 3 or 4 of the 5 died off, so this is the only one that was left. So I definitely think I have to get it into a better pot. I think it gets too narrow at the bottom, and these probably have really strong root growth, so repotting and root pruning is coming early this spring. But I wanted to get some ramification going before the actual grow season, because these things, once they start to take off, they'll grow really tall and skinny really quickly, and so I want to prune it back since I was able to successfully treat that one, remove the insects, and prune it down hard and get some bud back. I'm confident that at this time of the season, you know, it's later winter, it doesn't seem like it, but spring will be here before I know it. So if I prune it now, probably 1st of March, that time frame is when the buds will really start to be popping out. So my intention today is to prune it down, not crazy hard, but to generate some bud back going into spring. And then I'll probably midsummer give it another pruning. It's hard to judge with these because these ones and the Delonics, they both love to get all sorts of different insects. Little flies, aphids, spider mites, you name it, they like it. So just a branch coming across here, take that out. Okay, so actually right here, I've got one branch coming out here, going towards the outside of the pot. And then right at the top of another cut point, I've got one budding out there. See, these are really delicate. So, I'm just going to take off some of these lower branches here. I'll leave like this little new growth here and let that one grow in. But I'll remove the older leaves. Hi, Bruce Lee. I don't know if your dogs like attention, but I swear he loves being on camera. He always has to make an appearance. So I got these little terracotta pots. They're from Italy, but like at a bargain big box store. So I got 20 for $20. And at the time I had all seedlings, and so it really made a lot of sense to get them because they seemed like the right size. But then before you know it, you've got these trees and they just kind of look stupid in that smaller pot like that. Like, I don't mind a small pot as long as the tree's height matches it. You know, and obviously bonsai pots are squattier, wider. All right, so we're looking up here. So I'm going to leave this one, let this grow in. When I prune it, I usually leave room for dieback. So what I'm doing is just cutting off those little nips there. So when I went out to shovel the end of the driveway and stuff, clear out the mailbox area, I knew it was going to be crazy, but it was like, you know, when the plow comes by and everything's like heavier and deeper and you're just like, wow, that's what was going on. So I was not happy about it. But then these couple of construction guys from up the street, you know, they flagged me down. They're like, hey, we got a client down the street. You want us to come back up and plow this out for you? And I graciously accepted, as cheap as I am. All right, so I've got a couple of inner notes here. Oh, sounds like they might be back. So I pruned it down, not as hard as I would like to. I would love to prune this bad boy like right here and get some branching coming out. But I also don't want to take all of the energy out of the tree since it isn't quite spring yet. So, yeah, that's how I'll leave this one. Get a little closer on this branching. There we go. I'll leave this one. The other planting's a lot more exciting, and we'll get into that one. Stand by. All right, y'all. So, oh man, that guy just totally hooked me up. Not only did he come with the plow, but he had an industrial-sized snowblower on the back that I got to work around, you know, the Jeep and all that stuff even more. So, totally cleared out. What a good dude. Y'all might have caught me doing a conclusion before I was actually done pruning the trees because I had gone out to do some shoveling first. But now it's all plowed out, so whatever. When you see the conclusion, that was actually earlier than right now. So, this planting, I love it. It's one of my experiments, more unique, to the ranch, because I'm not just into bonsai. I'm really into tropicals and hanging plants. Really, I guess my secret love would be like fully cascading plants, flowers, vines, all that stuff. I love creepy, crawly things. So you'll notice up front, now that I've turned it around, this is actually from a hanging plant, and this planting just happened to reside below it. So when, if you could see these white flowers, when these are done blooming, they drop seeds off the hanging plant and they were falling into this planting. So I thought, how cool would it be to have like one joining style kind of canopy where these three blue jacarandas kind of all intermingled nice and a little bit higher, taking up the full width of this terracotta pot. That's actually like a flower box. And then have these crawling out and going down. I don't want them to cover the trunks, so I'm like, how can I pull this off? Do I have them in the back? But then that wouldn't work either, because then you wouldn't see them. So they are emerald lace, plectranthus, or tendali. So silver leaves with maroon undersides, white flowers, 6 to 8 inches tall, house plant, bright indirect light. So I think it's one of my favorite house plants because it's probably 18 inches below the bottom of the pot. I'm probably not going to remember to show you, but if you've seen a ranch update lately, I've showed it. So maybe what I'll do today, because I'll want this in the front and I'll want it crawling out, is I'll take out some of the verticality here and see if we can't get some back budding, and then have it start lower. And then obviously prune up these blue jacks, kind of in the same fashion I just did the last one. I know the last one was a bit boring, but if you're going to be growing bonsai from seed, just anticipate not having a lot of ramification and things like that with a lot of your species. It really takes time. And I think the most difficult thing for me is allowing my trees to grow without getting insect attacks. So you either have to treat them, and then the treatment itself like burns up the leaves or discolors them and they fall off, or you get to them a little late and you got to remove it because it's fully infested with like spider mites. So I'm going to really limit. A lot of these grew and I don't need a lot of them. There's one kind of back in the middle there, that's cool. This dominant guy's got to go, he's blocking my main trunk. Boom, boom. Of course, Laura vacuumed today, so I'm just going to make a nice little mess of little white flowers and stuff. The little green leaves that fall off the blue jacarandas. Well, I see that these grow, from dropping seed. I don't know that they grow from a cutting, and I don't know how they handle a pruning. So really, it won't be that big a deal if these plants just don't end up working for this planting. But it's an idea. So as these trunks develop, I think I'll be able to get away with having them grow a little bit taller if I'm going to have I'll leave this one right here because that's kind of already crawling out the pot. You know what I'll do? I'll downward facing bud it. I'll take it down one more. Okay. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, if they could be a little bit thicker, they could be a little bit taller, and then maybe these will develop and cascade out the front. I think that would just be a nice planting. So this first tree here, I'm going to take out some of the lower, older growth here. These are the leaves that are really shaded out. So I don't think it's new growth. I think it's just the top gets a lot more energy. Okay. Some old cut points. I left room for dieback. I'll just get rid of that. I have plenty of bonsai tools, but I always just end up going for these. Like I went through a phase where I used these shorter green snips, and now I'm just in the black scissors game. None of mine are thick enough to really warrant those big branch pruners that I see everybody using. I have them, but I've only used it once or twice. So we got some nice new growth going on here at the top, which means it's got plenty of energy, so it should bud back for me. So, boom, boom. And if you're new to bonsai, you might not taking something like this where it looks pretty good and pruning it, but you have to do it. A lot of times your bonsais are not going to be very attractive. But to get it to the next level, you know. Okay, so hopefully with these, I'll take this one off. Hopefully with these, I'll get, there's already a second branch coming out here. So if I could get an extra one there, that would be cool. And then this is a single branch. I'd like to get that one going out too. You know, start getting a little bit of ramification if I'm going to have a high canopy. This one looks nice and healthy. Nice green trunk. Looks like the one in the middle is the most dominant. Oh, actually I stand corrected. This one is the tallest. So why don't I work on that side now, and I'll go to the middle. So I'm just going to take out some of the older growth here. If you all have any questions about any of the other Planter's Choice trees, I'd be happy to answer them. The Norway spruce and the Picea aves, or the, excuse me, that is the Norway spruce. The Pinus aristata, they're extremely slow growing. So you might just be sitting around for a couple of years to grow a 3-inch, one branch little evergreen tree. I have some, my Pinus aristata, that are a little older than this. They'll be 3 years old in the middle of this month, and they're maybe 6 inches tall and just starting with some branching. Actually, it's like them and my Japanese black pines I'm most excited about this spring for. Because I haven't gotten to repot them and I haven't gotten to prune them. They're both going to be doing that. This branch is really thin. Should I let it go so it thickens with the other one? Take out some more of these. And if you're one of those people that gets like prune happy and wants to do it all the time, I just suggest you get a bunch of trees, because otherwise you're going to be really bored waiting. Oh, this is where I make the decision whether I'm going to nip the tip or not. You know what? It's already about the same height as where I pruned this one. So I'm just going to leave it with its new growth up top. You can see how much thinner it is. This is getting a woody trunk. This is still thin and green. All right, on to the next one. So I got some branches intersecting here, which ultimately that'll look pretty cool as it grows in. But for right now, I'm just gonna clean it up a bit. All right, this middle one's like a bush. out some of the lower branches. Maybe I'll get some bud back and some lower branching. So that one I initially showed you on the intro, that thing had the coolest second branch that ended up dying off for no reason that I could think of. And it like swirled around and came back and then divided. It was really cool. But thing just died off, and sometimes that happens with your trees. Got some English Premier League coming on in a little bit. I'm excited. No Liverpool, but some Man U. I love rooting against Manchester United. So it looks like most of the day, so I probably had this side of the pot facing the window, and then I turned it around upon pruning because they're coming back across the pot, which I think is a nice little flow. I do not wire my trees. I don't like it. I feel like you're putting your trees in a freaking chokehold, chaining them up. So I do mainly clip and grow, directional pruning and turning based on, where I want the tree to go. If you turn one side towards the window or put it in an eastern facing window, you get a lot more energy to it. I have a lot of eastern facing windows, and then let's see if that's east, that's south, and then yeah, eastern and southern facing. So the southern facing obviously don't get as much light. Now if you'll see, if you haven't done this before, you'll see these little ends of the branches I'm leaving. I don't want to cut too close and have anything happen to the new growth that could potentially come in, your inner nodes. So that's why I leave some room, and then you'll find that in like a week, maybe a little longer, they will, this one's coming back across, they will just yellow up, and you just flick them with your finger and they fall off. And then like your branches that you prune off, you want to leave, I don't know, 1/4 to 1/2 inch for dieback, and then the next time you prune them, you just nip those dead parts off, and they'll start to scar over and become one unolithic trunk rather than you can see where the cut lines are. Okay, so this thing got a little leggy before it divided, so I'm going to kind of follow the height of the rest of the pot. Let's keep this one inside the pot right here. It's starting to creep out, and I feel like I'm going to get a branch here, so I'll want something close to that. So let's go here. Wow, that went from really full to not. So what I'll do now is I'll grow this side towards the window to keep the growth coming back across the pot. Boom, boom. All right, now to watch my conclusion that I filmed earlier. All right, y'all, so here's the frozen tundra. It is our Connecticut ranch. Cleaned off the Jeep about 3, maybe 4 times just in this one storm. So it's very reflective, so I guess it's hard to see, but basically it was so windy that it was snowing sideways and blowing drifts. So, some parts were up to 2.5 feet. Other parts, it was more like 18 inches, but regardless, it's a little warmer today, so it got heavier. I'm not complaining. I'm just complaining because I'm too old for this. So, anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of Jarhead Bonsai, y'all. I really enjoyed pruning up the tropical trees on such a crazy snowy winter. If you did enjoy yourself and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. There's much more to come here from the ranch. Take care, y'all. Cheers.